Welcome back to the Fresh Fiction Podcast. I'm your host, Gwen Reyes, and I am on assignment in Pasadena, California right now, getting scoops about our new TV shows coming out this mid-season and through the summer at the Television Critics Association press tour. And while I've been out here, I actually have been picking up some chats with a lot of my friends and colleagues out here. And today is my first one with one of my dear friends, Kayla Cobb from Decider.com.
Hi, Gwen. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Well, I'm so excited because Kayla and I have been buddies for a long time and have kicked the idea of podcasts around for a while, so it's nice to have you back on as a guest.
Yeah, it's like actually happening.
Yay! So, Kayla, before we get started, do you mind telling our listeners a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. Like you mentioned, I'm a writer and reporter for Decider. We're a branch of the New York Post. And we cover streaming shows, so Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, HBO. If you could stream it, we write about it. And I mostly cover television. I end up doing a lot of like crime drama reviews, interviews, docuseries. Weirdly, anime falls into my category. So why not? And weird comedies. Really weird comedies.
You do have a very interesting like attachment of comedies because you always have like cartel shows or like the dude shows.
Yes. I have like every bro show, like it's dark and gritty and there's like a murdered, like, teenage girl, like, that's gonna be my show, and I'm gonna love it, and I can't tell you why.
It speaks directly to your soul.
It really does, and I don't know what that says about me, but there's that, and then there's, like, insane, like, comedies, like Baskets, like, Witches.
Yeah.
Fancy French clown show. So that's my personality.
But still, I feel it's like goofy and a little cerebral, but always dark.
Yes, always dark.
Always dark. So what made you want to be a writer?
Ooh, that's a good question. Let's see. I mean, I always wrote. Like, I remember in third grade, it sounds pretentious or something, but anyway, I remember, like, in third grade, my teacher being like, "You're a really good writer." And
awesome.
I was like, oh, this is something I'm good at. Let me continue to do it. And then television, I don't know, it's just a medium that always kind of made sense to me.
Yeah.
Like, I like serialized stories. I like being able to stay with characters for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, whenever I felt down, like, television always made me feel better, so.
What was your first show that was, like, the love of your life?
Ooh, like, that I was really, really into. Honestly, it was probably Invader Zim on Nickelodeon.
How fun!
I loved that show, and that was the first show I got, like, super deep on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I knew way too much about Jonah Vasquez. I, like, read all of his interviews, and, like, got into the mythology. It was very strange. It continues to be very strange, but
Have you gone and revisited?
Yes, I have. It's on Hulu right now.
Nice.
Yes. So, there's a lot of Nickelodeon shows on Hulu, in case you're wondering. But, I mean, it's always been an insane... It's very cool to revisit now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's insane that it was ever made on Nickelodeon.
I know. It's a bizarre little...
Yeah.
Dark show. Yeah.
Yeah, and, like, I know that they had a rule where it's, like, you couldn't show any character dying. So that was one of the major rules of the show. But because of that, like, what ends up happening is way more disturbing more often than not, where it's, like, someone clearly dies off camera,
mm-hmm.
and then they come back to life, and it's just, like, way creepier.
It's so weird.
Yeah. So, it's a great exercise in, like, how did this happen?
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say, it's really cool when you get to see a show that clearly exhibits rules and having to stay within their rules of either the network that has done it or the show has their own sort of mythology.
Yeah, and that one's an especially cool one just because Jonah Vasquez is such an adult
mm-hmm.
creator, and he's so messed up. Well, I mean, I don't know how he is personally, but his work is supremely messed up. Like, he's created a comic called Jomini the Homicidal Maniac, and that's, like, the whole...
He leans into it.
Yeah. Oh, he's all about it. So it's like, why would you give this man a kid's show?
Yeah. Seems like a great plan.
Right. But they did. And it was game.
That's awesome. I can't think of any off the top of my head right now, but, like, creators that are not suited for their job, and then it turns out to be really, like, special and awesome.
It's my favorite thing.
Mm-hmm.
What was your first big, like,
my love
obsession? Yeah.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh, that's a good one.
That
That's
was
a
mine.
classic one.
Yeah, I loved that show so much. I got so into the culture of it, of like writing fan fiction. Like I wrote Buffy the Vampire
Oh my
fan
god.
fiction. I had my computer where like instead of it just doing the little ding when it would start up, I actually had to play the entire Buffy the Vampire theme song. Every time I would turn my computer on. It was very excessive. But I loved it. I loved Buffy. I revisited it recently to see if it held up. Some friends have been rewatching it, but it's really hard to watch shows in a square.
Yes, that is
It's really distracting.
It is. And I'm sure with that one especially, it paved the way for so many shows. Like, going back now, it's kind of like, oh, it feels cliche, but it's actually revolutionary.
Right. And, like, the special effects are, like, again, like, they were revolutionary at the time, but now are a little cheesy. Like, whenever they transition into vampires, like, oh, okay.
Right.
But it's still good, and David Boreanaz is still babe. Oh, and you also just watch it with, like, the episode I rewatched was Passion. Mm-hmm. So it was back when Angel was turning into Angelus.
Yes.
And he was, like, a bad boyfriend. So it's a really great analogy for, like, abusive relationships, which I didn't get because I was always Team Angel.
Yeah.
I love Angel.
That's the hard thing about looking back at those shows. I don't know. When I realized that, like, in Gossip Girl that Chuck Bass was actually a monster, it kind of ruined my day.
Oh, he's like, he tried to rape somebody? Oh, but he's so, like, understanding and sensitive.
He's so suave. Oh, he sold his girlfriend for a hotel? Oh, I guess that's bad.
Yeah. But it's Chuck. It's fine.
But he's just Chuck Bass.
Oh, I miss Chuck. Oh. I would do a Gossip Girl there needs to be a reboot.
I would, if the CW announced that, I'd be watching that and covering it obsessively.
Yeah. Speaking of something that we learned today that was random, today was ABC Day, and so they brought the president out, their new president, Carrie Burke. And then they brought out some Freeform people for Good Trouble, which is a Foster spinoff, The Pretty Little Liars, Perfectionist, and then Grownish, which are all spinoffs. But it was interesting because during her conversation, she mentioned that she would want to reboot Lost.
Yeah, she did very casually. Like, someone mentioned, like, would you be interested? And she's like, yeah, I'd be interested in that.
I was like, please don't.
I know.
Would you want to Lost? You seem a little like you could be okay with it.
Okay, here's my idea on, like, the Lost reboot. We did Lost. Let's do something else.
Sure.
Let's find a new Lost. I don't know what the new Lost is going to be, but it doesn't have to be Lost.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, we did it.
We did it. We don't need to revisit it. Manifest is on NBC. It's fine.
That's the one.
That's the sequel. There you go. Well, Kayla, we have had a chance to see some shows while we've been out here.
We absolutely have.
And I wanted to talk with you about one show in particular. It's perfect for our audience because it is both an adaptation. I think is it a Marcia Clarke adaptation?
Actually, it's not. I lied to you before. I told you it was.
No, I didn't think it was. I thought it was as well. So when you told me that, I was like, I feel like that's accurate. But then today, it was kind of hit home that it's just Marcia Clarke had her own idea.
Yeah, I think she is just writing on it or consulting.
She's just there. She's just
there. She's just being Marcia.
But so it was, the show's crazy.
Yeah, by the way, the show is The Fix on ABC, and it premieres, I think, March 18th?
Yes. Yeah. And it is based off of something that I think viewers will recognize right off the bat. As a LA County District Attorney is trying to find justice for a woman who has been murdered allegedly by her husband. Mm-hmm. The murderer, or the celebrity, gets off. He does not have to do any jail time. But then 19 years later, he is arrested for a similar crime because his girlfriend has now been found dead.
Yeah.
And this brings back our prosecutor who had thrown herself away and moved up to the country in Montana or Wyoming. I don't know, somewhere over there.
Somewhere peaceful
and quiet. And has now been asked to come back and help solve this crime.
Yep, it's OJ.
Yeah.
It's the not OJ show, but it's OJ.
Yeah, it's not OJ, but it's OJ.
Yeah.
It was funny listening to Marcia today talk about it's not based on anything true, and it's like,
I know, but she started the session literally in the clip before the panel started. She said something like, she said to the screen, like, is this a revenge fantasy? Maybe. And she was, like, really coy about it.
So coy about it.
And it's like, come on.
Yeah, just be real with it. But so what did you think about it? What did you think about the fix?
I kind of, like, I don't want to say perversely love it, but, like, I really, really dig it.
I really dig it, too.
And I think a lot of it is just because it is so the OJ story.
Yes.
And they're just pretending like it's not. Like, isn't her name Maya? The girl who's supposed to be, or not, the woman who's supposed to be Marcia. Or
yeah,
Marcia
I think his name is, like, Maya.
Yeah, her name's Maya, which is, like,
basically Marcia.
Right there. And there's, like everything. Like, she has, like, a flirty thing with one of her, like...
Oh, with her coworker who's now the actual district attorney?
Yes.
Or is running for district attorney, maybe?
I think he's just in the office.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, she has, like, a flirty thing going on there. She even, like, makes a comment in one of the first 2 episodes about, like, when I was on, like, television, everyone made fun of my hair. Like, and then there's even, like, a boy with uncharacteristic, like, gorgeous surfer locks living in the guest house of the celebrity. Like, it's OJ.
It's OJ, but with a little family twist, because you've got, like, what happens when the person gets off, their kids grow up, and now they have to keep all these family secrets. And I love it because it's, like, really secretive. It's also, it's broad enough that I think it's going to appeal to a nice network or a broadcast audience, but it's also kind of edgy enough that it keeps you interested. And it's only 8 episodes.
Yeah, which is really nice.
Which is really nice.
And what I do like about it a lot is, I feel like when it comes to legal drama, sometimes, I'm thinking of How to Get Away with Murder right now, where it starts with a case, or, you know, a series of cases, and then every, like, lawyer kind of gets involved in a murder in some way.
Yeah.
And, it really spirals out of control pretty quickly. It kind of feels like it's going to just focus on the emotions of this case for the people.
Yeah.
Like, involved and how, like, the case plays out with these people, and just kind of, like, really center on this. And if it does do that, we've only seen 2 episodes so far, but if it does do that, that'd be nice.
That'd be really nice. So let's talk about Robin. Robin Tunney, who's playing Maya.
Yeah.
She is, you know, the stand-in for Marcia Clarke. She's come around. I think she's an interesting actress, because sometimes I really love her, like, in The Craft, but I haven't really liked a lot of her TV work.
Yeah, I don't really, like, she's not an actress where if I see her name, I'm like, oh, she's gonna make me tune in. I really like her in this, because she does kind of, like, exasperated, brilliant woman well. Yeah. Like, I believe her, and I would like to follow her around as she's frustrated with the world.
I'm interested, too, because there's a little bit of, like, another thing that's nice about it, too, is it's not heavy on the, like, romance or anything either. Like, it's all kind of hinted at, which makes you, you know, it helps you relate and focus on the behind the scenes. She mentioned in either the sizzle reel or on stage that it's all about what goes on with this case when no one's watching.
Yes,
and that is definitely a vibe that I'm hoping that they would keep for the whole time.
He kind of does what, speaking of the OJ of it all, Cuba Gooding Jr. did so well in The People vs. OJ, where the whole time you don't know if he's good or bad. Like, he does a really good job of riding the line with, like, are you guilty, are you not? Which, I appreciate that.
Yeah, because you want to feel that way, too, because otherwise, as a viewer, you're like, if you knew he was the bad guy right off the bat.
Right.
And I'm interested, I bet it'll still turn out that he's the bad guy.
I feel like that, yeah.
But I feel like there's going to be all of these, like, helpers that we haven't met or are going to meet.
Yeah. Or I could see it going down where, like, he's, like, guilty, but someone else was involved. Like, someone actually murdered the woman, his wife, and he's, like, an accomplice or whatever.
Yeah. So it'd be something slightly twisty.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be twisty.
But yeah, he's really good. I really like the actress that plays his daughter, too, because she's really conflicted.
Great.
I think that she's really interesting. But it's a really fun show. I'm excited to see more of it. I really love the idea and the fact that it is only 8 episodes.
Yes.
And that it's going to be a complete arc. So you get some, like, some closure.
Absolutely.
There's nothing worse than watching a show and not getting any closure.
Yeah, and then I also get annoyed with kind of shows like these. If they last too long, and it's like, oh, come on, wrap up the case. Like, this doesn't need to go on forever.
It shouldn't take you this long.
Right, and it's like, you're losing me. Like,
so it'd be interesting. There's supposed to be suggested that it's an anthology series, so it could be same characters, new case, or be new characters, new case. So we'll see how ABC gets into the anthology game.
Yeah. I think at one point Marcia Clarke mentioned that she wanted every new season to like start with a recognizable crime.
Which would be cool.
Yeah. And I know during the panel, she threw out Casey Anthony a few times, just like referencing the case. So, I don't know, maybe that's what she's eyeing for.
That'd be cool. I'd much rather see her perspective of that than like a Nancy Grace.
Oh, for sure.
You know?
Yeah. That'd be fascinating.
Mm-hmm. Could have like a ladies of true crime battle off between Nancy Grace and Marcia Clarke.
Oh my god.
Celebrity death match.
Would watch. But no, I'm excited for the fix. I think it's going to be a hit on ABC because, like, I mean, Marcia Clarke's name's attached to it. It's OJ. It's definitely the OJ case. So, like, I feel like people are going to watch just for that.
Absolutely.
And then get hooked in.
Yep. So Kayla, I'll let you tell us how we are able to see it. It would probably, being that it's an ABC show, it would probably be available on Hulu.
Yeah. Normally, it should be available next day on Hulu. So
you can watch it live over the top on ABC.
You can watch it ABC or ABC Go. Yeah. And then next day streaming on Hulu is normally where it's at.
That's pretty sweet. I love that about ABC that they still do that, and now with the merger going on, it's pretty much guaranteed that ABC shows will hopefully stay on Hulu so that we can keep up with them regardless of cable cutting or not.
Yeah, we're a cord-cutting household. Household is me and my roommate.
And your dog.
Oh, and her dog. But, yeah, it's, streaming's great. Just because I can still do that.
Yeah, I love that. Well, Kayla, we've come to the part of our podcast where we do recommendations, and we're always looking, since we are a recommendations podcast, we're always looking for what we should be watching, reading, and listening to. Do you have any recommendations for us?
I do. So watching, I'm going to go with True Detective, just because we're talking about that tight 8-episode anthology, and that's exactly what season 3 is, and Mahershala Ali is so good.
He's so good. I haven't watched any of this season yet. I'm waiting to have him ready for me when I get home, but it's so good.
I don't know. Were you a big fan of season 1?
I loved season 1. I pushed myself through season 2. Okay. I'm very excited about season 3.
So you're like everyone.
Yeah, I'm like a fan. Yeah. I'm a normal person.
Yeah. It's not as good as season 1. I will never say that. But like, it's a really interesting character study of Mahershala Ali's character. Wayne Hayes, I believe, is the cop's name. Anyway,
and he plays it over 3 generations, right?
Yes, he does.
That's
over
cool.
3 timelines. It's a really good like case study in how this like horrible children kidnapping case has like traumatized this one detective and the community around.
They're always killing children,
right?
It's just like an easy. I guess the first one was sex crime.
It was sex
children.
Crime.
Yeah,
but still, this one, I don't know. No sex crime yet, thank God. But kidnapping and killing children is happening.
We know where Nick's brain is right now. I wish for the days when they all turn out that all 3 of them are in the same like timeline, because they're all the same little verse. That would be really cool.
There was a moment in season 3 where they referenced like the spiral killer or something like very quickly, and it's like, oh my god, you're talking about season 1. What are you watching right now?
So I'm watching right now. What did I write down? I had to think about that for a second. Oh, I watched a new documentary on Netflix called Abducted in Plain Sight that premiered on Friday. Again, true crime, just keeping in the theme. It is wild. It is a wild story. It's so wild that it's almost like I don't believe this, but then at the same time I'm like, these people are really sheltered and dumb and things happen, I guess.
Right.
So it is about a family whose oldest daughter is abducted by their next door neighbor.
Oh wow.
Slightly willingly. Like he convinces, so he steals, he's like always around and available. The families are best friends. He's essentially groomed both of her parents to let it happen because he's built up like blackmail with them. And then when he he takes her and then he does it again. Like after they find her, after she's found after 3 months, he takes her again and has this whole wild story about why he does it. So it is bizarre. It has the full participation of the Blanchard. I don't remember the family. They both start with B's, but the family that was the victim family. They have full participation with them, so they all talk and they all like share what happened and what their perspectives were.
Oh my god!
So it's it's real, but it's also one of those documentaries that's like slightly trashy. You know, like it's like slightly like a little, just like okay, but it was still fun. It's good.
That sounds good. Like I've seen a lot of seen it on Twitter a lot.
Yeah, I think it dropped on either Thursday or Friday of last week, and then I've been hearing a little bit about it.
That might have to be like my plane.
Oh, it's good. It's only 90 minutes too, so it's real fast.
Okay.
Like I watched it on my phone.
That's happening.
Yeah,
that's happening.
It's a good little movie one. Okay, so what are you reading? Do you have any recommendations for books for us?
I have a book recommendation and then an article I literally just read that was great.
Oh, goody.
The book is The Girl from Everywhere by Heidi Helgig. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I've been trying to read more female authors lately. Just because, just making a conscious effort because, like, normally just kind of grab whatever's on the shelf.
Sure.
And, like, I've looked and it's like, it's a lot of dudes.
It's a lot of dudes.
Right. Which, help ladies out.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool. It's, like, kind of like a time traveling deal where it's a teenage protagonist. I think it's YA. But her dad's obsessed with going back in time and, like, finding her mother.
Oh, wow.
Who died.
Oh.
And so she's, like, helping her dad because she loves her dad, but at the same time, she's, like, I might, like, no longer exist. So she's, like, having this, like, internal conflicts, but there's also, like, pirate ships, and they go, like, all over the world, and, like, 1800s, and then back to modern day New York. It's a crazy town.
It's great, like, world building.
Yes. Mm-hmm. It's a very good world building. And the article I just read that was great was on Gizmodo. Harrison Weber tried to Marie Kondo his Twitter account.
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm. And he tried to purge all of his tweets. And his Twitter likes.
Uh-huh.
Here's the headline. I just accidentally re-liked hundreds of old tweets, and I'm so, so sorry. And it's excellent. It's just, like, a very sad story of this one man who tried to, like, clean up his life.
And then it blew up in his face.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's just all of his friends being like, why are you re-liking things, you sociopath?
So why did he... Oh, now I have to go and read the article to find out why it accidentally re-liked everything.
Oh, yeah. It's... And, like, there's screenshots of people being like, why are you doing this? And you'll see, like, the tweet that he liked is from, like, 2014.
But I love also that his friends said anything to him, because, like, think about whenever you're on Facebook or something and someone likes, like, an old thing, you're like, what are you doing? How did you get here?
But at least, okay, Facebook and Instagram, it's creepy if someone likes your old stuff, but, like, it's image-based, so maybe, okay, I get it. You're looking through my pictures. Twitter
is like, you're a psycho. Like, you
went going through years.
Or did that person really prove their interest in you?
Right. Too much.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's when research borders right into stalking.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's great. Can't wait to read this Gizmodo article about cleaning up, Marie Kondoing my life.
I'm failing.
And my Twitter.
What are you reading?
What am I reading right now? So I'm actually not reading anything, but I'm going to be starting Live from New York, which is an older book.
Yeah.
But it is, I don't know if it's an audio account, but it's like interviews with people who worked on SNL and their behind the scenes like experience of it, and there's like lots of wild, crazy stories in it. Yeah. And a lot of podcasts I've been listening to, people have been rereading the book. So I was like, oh, maybe I should read it. So I have it ready for me to read when I get back to Dallas.
Oh, that's going to be really exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited.
One. I haven't read it, but I've heard nothing but great things.
Yeah, and I love anything that's like behind the scenes in general, but I especially love SNL. So yeah, I'm thrilled.
So much history, obviously.
So much history. Don't tell our new vampire friend who did not like our Yeah, never mind. We'll talk about it later. Who cares? They don't need to see anything. I love those in podcasts that we're like, we don't talk about that. Okay, so last one. What are you listening to? Anything fun?
Yes, this is actually a recommendation from you, Gwen.
Yay!
The podcast I'm most excited about right now is The Dropout, which is about the rise and fall, mostly fall, of Theranos, and its CEO, Elizabeth Warren, and just like how this Silicon Valley blood testing company, how it like swindled the Valley and so many investors out of literally millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And
it's insane.
It's a great. I read Bad Blood too, the book about it, and it's completely insane because the whole story is basically there are all these Silicon Valley like tech bros who don't understand how biology works and who never like thought to check it, and same with journalists. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't check her either, and so she would say these crazy claims, and all these people would be like, "You probably know what you're talking about." Like
confidence is 80%.
That's it. She was just really confident, and she has a crazy deep voice.
Oh my god, and it's fake.
Yeah.
When that was revealed in the first episode that it was fake, blew my mind.
Which is like the only reason I'd bring up her crazy deep voice, because it's fake.
Yeah.
Like
she was like, I just had to learn to talk lower. I found out that's what people wanted to respond to. Bizarre. Grifters are just my favorite.
Oh my god, I could go on about them forever.
I love it. I love a good grifter. Mm-hmm. That's a good true... Scams are fun true crimes because really hopefully no one ends up murdered. So that's good. People are, like, their lives are ruined, so that, like, we shouldn't, like, make light of that.
No,
but they're really juicy. And they're kind of fun.
It's just insane. I think what it is for me is I don't have, like, that level of confidence. Like, I feel like I'm fairly confident in myself. But, like, I don't have the level of confidence of, like, Billy McFarlane or Anna Delvey where I could go up to someone and be like, yo, give me $1 million.
Yeah, give me $1 million. I'll do all the things.
Right. I'm going to make, like, a new platinum, my new credit card company. I don't have the confidence to even think I can make a better credit card. That's an insane thought. And Billy McFarland actually had it and convinced people, like, yep, I could do this. He could do this. Like, it's madness.
It's true. It's so madness. So,
what are you listening to?
So my podcast that I'm listening to is called Broken Hearts.
Yeah.
So this one, the last, like, March, I think, there was a family that drove off a cliff into the ocean in California. Yeah. And there was, like, really, people were, like, they were so, like, the family was great because it was a lesbian couple who had adopted 5 at-risk kids. Okay.
I remember reading about this.
Yeah, and so there was, like, barely any information after they died. Yeah. There were some things that came up of, like, oh, it was intentional. Oh, they found Benadryl in all the kids. Oh, she was drinking. Yeah. But there was really, like, not a lot of details from it. But so this podcast started following the case right after it happened. So they've been doing it, and it just started, I think they just launched it in January. Or maybe at the end of December. So it's, like, pretty new. Every single week they reveal something different about the character, or about the people.
Yeah.
But it was just really sad because it has a lot to do with, like, the image that you put out on Facebook or in your social media versus, like, who you really are. So, like, she was always presenting this world of, like, oh, my kids are so great, and they came to us with all these learning disabilities, but now I fixed them. And then it turns out that she was, like, she was a stay-at-home mom and homeschooler, never did anything, played video games all day.
Oh my god.
And, like, they even interviewed her former, like, guild co-captain or whatever, and he's like, I don't know how Jen had time to take care of 5. When I found out she had 5 kids, I was surprised because she was playing games all the time. There's no way that she was homeschooling those kids.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so it was just, like, all of this stuff that was happening in their real life and behind the scenes. And, of course, they're all dead now, so we can't ask them any specific deep questions, but it's really good. It's a really interesting podcast, and it's really well done. They're very respectful of everybody, which I think is key, because sometimes podcasts can get a little too, like, either invasive or glib.
Oh, absolutely. Like, the Finding Richard Simmons one is, like, the ultimate example of, like, okay, let's calm down a bit.
Yeah.
But, no, that sounds good. And that's, like, one thing I really do like about podcasts is, like, they give people the opportunity to dive into cases that need, I feel like that needs an answer. Like,
Absolutely.
how did this happen?
Yeah.
And there's just not, like, the resources to figure out, like, why.
Right, yeah. And so it's nice to see that. I really recommend it. It's good. And it's an easy binge because I think it's only, like, 30 minutes or 45 minutes. They're fast.
What, like, network is it? Is it anyone?
It is, I want to say Cosmo.
Okay.
I think Cosmopolitan did it.
Really?
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, no, that's Believed. That's the wrong one. Glamour did it. And there's a new episode. Ready for you to download it. Yeah, I can't remember what day it comes out on, but it's either a Tuesday or Wednesday podcast.
Okay, cool.
All my podcasts are on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and it drives me crazy.
I know. That's a lot.
I wish that they were... I need a nice, like, Friday one.
Friday one would be great.
Like, get your pre-weekend going.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Kayla, our time has come to an end.
Oh.
Is there anything that you want to promote or tell people about, and how can people stay in touch with you and learn more about you?
Let's see. I think I'll just promote myself.
Perfect.
I'm at decider.com still. You can read my work there. You can read the work of my colleagues. They're all great and wonderful. They're very smart people that have sassy takes on pop culture. And you can follow me on Twitter, Kayla Cobb, KaylCobb. And that's about it for me.
Awesome. Well, Kayla, thank you so much for coming on, and can't wait to have you on again.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yay!
Hey guys, it's Gwen. If you love what you hear, there are a few ways you can help us during Season 2. First, don't forget to subscribe to the Fresh Fiction Podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Podcasts, or any of your other favorite podcast apps. Rating, reviewing, and sharing the podcast with your friends helps us out more than you'll ever know. Sharing is caring, as they say. You can also find me on Twitter and Instagram as Real Vixen.